Hello and welcome to another episode of Science Bang. In this episode we're going to be talking about study skills, so if you're a uni student still at school or just studying for a general interest, this video is for you. We're going to be dividing it up into several sections, starting with time management, association, learning and memory, note-taking, mnemonics, consolidation and of course SQ3R. So if you think this video is for you, stay tuned to find out more. And of course don't forget to hit the like button and the subscribe button. It really helps us out a lot. When you're studying, time management is incredibly important. And that doesn't mean study for a 6-hour block and then stop. It means pace yourself. So study hard, not long. Some research shows that actually the effective study period without a break is only 25 minutes. This is because the mind can easily wander onto other topics or subjects. So every 25 minutes, take a 5-minute break. Whether that 5-minute break is to make a cup of tea, whether it's to go for a short walk, listen to music, or even watch a short YouTube video like this one. When your study period is over, then it's a good idea to have a reward in mind, whether that's to go to the pub, go for a long walk, or just anything that's fun for you. So in summary, if you're studying for a 6-hour block, it's actually more effective to actually study for 5 hours and take those 10-minute breaks an hour, 5 minutes every 25 minutes, and actually only study for 5 hours rather than 6 hours. And you'll find you're a lot more productive, able to retain more information, and actually sustain yourself through that time a lot more effectively. The human mind has got an amazing ability to make associations with natural stimuli. So for example, if you're in the kitchen, you might be hungry if you've just eaten. If you're in the bedroom, you might be sleepy if you're not tired. This can be a big disadvantage, especially if you've got a small space and don't have the room for a dedicated study area. However, there are tricks you can do to turn this to your advantage. So for example, take a lamp. Only turn the lamp on when you're studying and never have it on when you're not. Over time, and it can take a long time, the mind can build up an association with that lamp that when it's on, you instantly enter study mode and you can focus more and you can concentrate better. You could try other things like changing the colour temperature of a Philips Hue light bulb or any other plethora of natural stimuli. And over time, hopefully you'll be able to train your mind into instantly enter study mode when that natural stimuli is triggered. When it comes to learning and memory, highlighting can be an incredible, powerful tool. But it's important to only highlight the keywords and very important bits, otherwise it becomes a bit meaningless. It's also got the danger of muddling up recollection and recognition. Recognition being where you read something again and you think, I remember that, but when in reality you're recognising it, not recollecting it. And recollection being the act of active recall of a fact or an idea. One way to get around this and actually ensure you are remembering stuff you highlight is using the SQ3R technique, which we'll come on to later at the end of this video. Note-taking is one of those age-old study techniques which just works. But it's important not to write everything down. So try closing your textbook and writing down what you just read in your own words. Also, when you're taking notes, try and relate it to something you already know or have learned before. So for example, when I was taking notes on Kepler's laws, angular momentum inevitably came up. So I'd relate it back to the age-old example of an ice skater pulling their arms in as they spin. After a lecture or after you've read something, it's very important to expand on it and add to your notes, because after a couple of hours or even a day, the chances of remembering it are very, very slim. Another great way to improve your memory is to use mnemonics. And this can be anything from coined sayings to acronyms to interactive images, and yes, even note-taking classes as a form of mnemonic that we spoke about earlier. So one very common example is King Philip came over for good soup, and that describes the taxonomic order of animals and plants. So we've got kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus and species. So you can see how the first letter of each one of that coined phrase works for all of those different taxonomic orders. We've also got ones for the rainbow, like Richard of York gave battle in vain, or even the compass, naughty elephant squirt water. So mnemonics are a great way to learn different things like that. Also, it's important to be able to consolidate what we've learnt. A lot of research shows that memory only really takes effect in REM sleep, and this is known as sleep-dependent memory processing. And in order to process all we've learned in a day, it's important to get around 8 hours of sleep a night. It can vary from person to person. Some need 6, some need 9, but aim for 8 hours of sleep a night, and then hopefully you'll be able to process and remember what you learned the previous day a lot more effectively. And lastly, as promised, SQ3R. And this stands for Survey, Question, Read, Recite and Review. The idea is when you first read a passage, you skim read over it and you highlight the interesting things that you might not know. For example, if I was reading a passage on microbes, I might see the word halophile. I'll highlight it and then I'll write a question. What is a halophile? So that's the survey and the question. And the idea is to go through the entire chapter like that to start off with. Once you've gone through the chapter and looked at the bold bits and the pictures and formulated those questions, then we can start to answer them. So read the text in more detail and write the answers to the questions that you posed. Next, we want to recite what we've learned. So that can be going over and over again, and we can use flashcards for this or make notes or reread the important bits and reword them in our own words. And the last one is to review. And this can be testing yourself with flashcards or Anchor or different kind of spaced repetition learning apps. You could even just have a piece of paper with questions and the answers on the back, or go through past exam papers which relate to the chapter that you just reviewed. Any of these things are a great way to review what you've learned. I hope you found this video useful in some way. If you have, I'd really appreciate it if you could hit the like button and subscribe. And until next time, see you then.